Greetings to the Metropolitan District Youth and Young Adult Auxiliary. Today we are here with Reverend Dr. Arlamont Smith. He has had an immense impact on our church and community as well as myself, so I'm glad to be able to interview you, Pastor.
I'm glad to be here for you, my brother.
Hey, Pastor Smith, tell me a little bit about your background. When and where were you born and how did you grow up?
Well, literally, I was born right there in Detroit on the east side. And I grew up typical for that time to which I was born and grew up, hanging out and doing all the things that you do as you grow from childhood to adulthood. And had fun in doing it, and went to school right there in the city, and et cetera. Everything was done right there until I left there and going to the 96th Marine Corps.
Okay. So we know that you have two doctorate degrees. Can you please share with us which colleges you attended and what your majors were?
I have a doctorate, PhD in philosophy. It's from the University of Colorado by virtue of Aspen. And I have a doctorate in ministry from United Seminary.
Okay. I want to ask you, when did you become a member of Chapel Hill and what made you want to become a member?
Well, my membership was based upon an indoctrination to which Dr. Roy Allen did with bringing me over to see Chapel Hill, learn Chapel Hill, work for Chapel Hill, do not only sermonic content, but do educational things there. And I left and went to Ohio. And upon Dr. Allen's retirement and the church doing its due diligence, I was brought back. And that at that point, 27 years ago, was when I became a part of the Chapel Hill experience.
Okay. So what makes you a history maker in our church?
I don't know if I am a history maker. I know that history has been made, and I may have been somewhere in the wing of it while it was being made. Um, I think history is a process of time, and time within itself produces elements, points of time in the timeline of existence to which individuals get a spotlight, and we call it a historical event. But I think what, as far as to myself, as far as to making history, I think I'm just riding the wagon of the Hillian, the Chapel Hill experience, and the things that it's able to do and produce in this community and in the city.
Mm-hmm. And can you give us some ways that you're involved in our church community?
Well, yeah, I'm involved with the 10th Precinct Police Department. We are also part of what is called the Faith 10, which is part of the 10th Precinct. In addition to that, we work with various areas, such as we got like 5 of us that are churches together. We make sure that we when one church is doing something, we all are in cooperation with one another, i.e., food drives, clothing drives, and etc. Those are the things I think that we are, quote unquote, boots on the ground. And we also work with our district, District 7. And just like coming up, we'll be hosting District 7. We also make sure that we participate in the health fair that is done by our district, and we work with Hall in the things that he may need, as well as anyone in our community.
Mm-hmm. How can you say that you've advanced the creation of God's kingdom?
Oh, I think that a little speck that I have done, it's been through providing strong doctrine into the hearts of humanity and individuals that Paul would identify as giving them meat to be able to become strong and grown. I've watched individuals of our church family grow. I've watched individuals that we trained and they moved into other vineyards and are doing powerful and marvelous work even to this day. And so I think that it is the spiritual part of the doctrine of stability, of growth, of letting individuals spread their wings and fly into the heights to which God would have them.
And lastly, I want to ask, how have you impacted your community as a whole?
Well, I think that just like right now we have plans, I think what we've done is for the little community, our neighborhood, we have helped to stabilize it by fostering relationships around our community. And those relationships help us to be able to invest in our community, such as our nonprofit town housing, our Chapel Hill Corporation, Development Corporation. Right now, we are working with grant writers for our children and youth center to get back up and running so that we'll be able to have an impact with having young adults a place that they can come and do all the things that we were able to do when we was coming up under a safe eye. And so I think how we impact holistically is bringing a sense of stability in that part of the community, even as far as to being the first church to have green light, so that individuals and it has saved a couple lives that we know of by having it in that neighborhood. So I think that's where we reach out and say that we have done a little something, not much anything, but a little something that we're grateful for.
I understand. So I appreciate you, Pastor, for your participation and for your service in our community.
Well, Mr. Darren, I thank you. You are one of the guiding lights to which I'm proud of as I seen you at birth and I see you in growth and young adulthood, and I'm proud of you as a young Black man.
Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate you.